and welcome to a new episode of Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. I'm Ritwika Gupta. India's beauty industry, that's largely known to cater to the women population, is now making room for startups making products for men. With large FMCG companies investing in these startups, the men's grooming market holds tremendous potential, and that's what we're going to explore on this edition of Leaders of Tomorrow. I'll be in conversation with two such businesses which are making a mark in the male grooming industry: Bombay Shaving Company and the Man Company. From beard oils to detan creams, the male grooming industry is finally stepping out of the shadows of the women's grooming category. According to Research and Markets, the Indian male grooming industry was worth $643 million in 2018 and is expected to reach $1.2 billion by 2024. Brands like the Man Company, Bombay Shaving Company, Beardo, Nykaa Man, and many more are changing the game in the space. The segment is also seeing serious interest from larger FMCG giants. While Emami has a stake in the Man Company, Bombay Shaving Company has had investments from Colgate-Palmolive and Reckitt. Founded in 2015, the Man Company describes itself as a one-stop destination for premium grooming essentials for men in India. To understand the opportunities in the men's grooming market, we'll be chatting today with the Managing Director and co-founder of the Man Company, Hitesh Dhingra. Hi Hitesh, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me here today.
So, I want to begin this interview by asking you to take us through your journey as an entrepreneur first, from Let's Buy to Truly Madly and now the Man Company. Tell me, what have been your biggest learnings as an entrepreneur?
Well, I think all three of my ventures, if you look at it, were trying to do category creation, right? When I started Let's Buy, it was more about setting up e-commerce and making people buy electronics, laptops, mobile phones online. And same with Truly Madly, because dating had a very big taboo in India, right? So we were trying to break a lot of stereotypes associated with dating and especially online dating. And with the Man Company, there was hardly anything that existed when it came to men's grooming, right? Most of the beauty brands were focused always on women, but there was nothing for men. So I think the biggest learning was that whenever you're doing category creation, you need to do it, at least look at it with a longer perspective, right? It takes minimum 10 years to kind of build a business, get the product market fit, and build a business which can then scale and obviously brand that can last you, right? So I think that was my biggest learning.
Beauty as a term, merely a decade ago, it was almost exclusively reserved for women. But of course, now things have changed. It has taken a much more broader meaning, especially after the pandemic. Tell me, what was the initial motivation? Was this the initial motivation to start the Man Company?
So I think we realized that grooming for men was a big pain point, especially for Indian men. And grooming, not just in terms of how they look, or what kind of skincare regime they have, but also in terms of how they kind of converse, whether if they are going on a first date, what to wear, what not to do, what to do. So I think there was a lot of requirement to create awareness through educational content around the overall grooming. So that's where the idea came from. And I think initially we were thinking of creating something like Grooming Buddy, which with a vision to create a content and community and then layer it with commerce by offering relevant products. So I think that's how it started.
Right. I want to talk about the men's grooming market in India. What are the opportunities, the growth opportunities do you see in this space?
I believe it is still in the nascent stage. It's been 7 years since we started, but I still believe it's day one. Because I think when we started out, we realized that the biggest challenge for us in this market is going to be changing the behavior of men who were just not involved in the category, right? And that required a lot of investment in creating awareness, one around the category, around the importance of grooming, and obviously the product that we were offering, right? So I still remember this incident when we launched our beard oil. It used to come with a dropper, right? And we used to get a lot of calls from people asking कि कितने पानी के साथ पीना है, right? Because people used to think that it's a homeopathy medicine that they need to consume with the water, right? So realize that yes, it is still day one, and we need to kind of do a lot of content creation. Second, I think one gap that we realized as a brand was that most of the men's grooming brands, especially the large companies, they were focusing on selling functionalities, right? So be it the anti-dandruff shampoo or a face whitening cream.
Yeah.
I think we as a brand, we try to resonate with millennial customers at an emotional level, right? So we try to kind of communicate in the language that they understand by being authentic. So you'll never see us promoting just one product. I think we believe that we are building a lifestyle brand, and we try to kind of create that emotional connect with the consumer, which is going to last for longer as long as I think we continue to innovate, we continue to communicate. And I think that's what is required to build a brand in this category. And thankfully, I think if you look at the new age men's grooming brand, it is not just us. I think we've got 3-4 more contemporaries who have done a fab job, right? And together we have managed to kind of create the category and get it to this level.
Right. Picking up from what you said, now consumers are looking for a more holistic combination of skincare, health, wellness. Was that the reason why you actually launched your wellness category?
Definitely. I think we had this category in mind for last 4 years, and we've been working on it, doing research to figure out what will work, what will not. But the biggest challenge for this category was, again, I think India is not a very preventive market, right? So we don't like to consume tablets unless doctor asks you to do that. Right? So even though there was awareness that you need to consume the right stuff, but I think there was a stigma around popping the tablet just for the sake of it. Right? So I think COVID kind of created a lot of awareness around the wellness category as such. People started consuming vitamin C and a lot of immunity tablets, right? But still, I think as a brand, we thought that we are catering to millennials, right? And if we have to cater to millennials, we need to kind of innovate on the format, right? There's a stigma around tablet, let's change that, right? So we ended up working on a new format, which is dissolvable strip, right? And it comes in different flavors, sugar-free, and positioning it more as a lifestyle product again, right? So that even if it is lying on the table, you don't mind picking it up and just popping it. So I think that's what we've done. And again, the insight came from our users because they were looking for, like, I think hair fall is a big problem in men. And we have a biotin range of shampoo and conditioner. But yes, we knew that I think men were looking for something to consume as well, because obviously I think they get influenced a lot by women in their lives, right? When it comes to overall well-being or taking care of them, be it physically or mentally. So I think that was the reason why we got into that category.
Right. At this point, I also want to talk about your communication strategy, your marketing communication strategy. Is it mainly digitally focused? You also have Ayushman as your brand ambassador and an investor in the company. How has that helped the brand?
Sure. So when we started out, we knew that we are disrupting the traditional brands, not just in terms of our approach, our product range, but also the way the brand is built in this category. Second, I think the awareness around the category was possible to be done on digital using Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, because you can create a lot of content, right? And target specifically to your audience. From day one, we wanted to build an experiential brand because that was a big opportunity that we realized. Even today, I think if you look at our existing peers as well, I mean the new age peers, I think we are probably the only experiential brand to have 55 own stores, right? And apart from our own stores, we are also available across different lifestyle format stores like Shop Stop, Lifestyle, Pantaloons, etc. Getting Ayushman Khurrana on board was I think has worked really well for the brand. It's been exactly 3 years since we associated with him, and I think we've done a couple of award-winning campaigns with him. And the reason to get him on board was to, one, I think, take the brand to next level in terms of reach, in terms of trust, credibility. And I think Ayushman as an individual, as an actor, he has built a lot of credibility from his work, right? So he resonated a lot with what we stand for as a brand. And I think for us, that was probably the best decision, because I think since we've got him on board, business has grown almost 500 times, right, in last 2 years. And now we've got Bhuvan Balm on board as well for our fragrance category. And I think even though it's been a couple of months, but we are already seeing a huge jump in terms of our fragrance category doing well, right? So he's showing his magic as well.
Well, all the best. It was really nice chatting with you, Hitesh.
Thanks a lot.
It's time to take a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. It's now time to catch up with another leading name in the male grooming industry. I'll now be chatting with Shantanu Deshpande, CEO and co-founder, Bombay Shaving Company. Launched in June 2016, Bombay Shaving Company has created a wide array of products across shaving, hair care, skin care and beard care. It's one of India's leading brands in this category. Shantanu Deshpande, CEO and co-founder Bombay Shaving Company, joins us from his office in Gurgaon to share his vision for this segment in the coming years. Hi Shantanu, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Ritwika, my pleasure.
So, over the last few years, a number of brands have jumped into the business of men's grooming market. So to start off with, tell me what makes Bombay Shaving Company a unique brand, and take us through your journey from the time you set out to build this business.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think men's grooming is becoming big, primarily because the consumer was underserved. Consumer businesses for women in beauty or personal care evolved to serve women for unfortunate social conditionings of thousands of years of the human race, right? Women, the pressure of looking good was on women because that's when they would get a good match. They were not educated enough, they were not financially independent, etc. So looks was the currency. You're slowly seeing, if you look at urban Indian phenomenon, right? Women are getting educated more, they're studying longer, they're dating a lot more, they're marrying later, right? So now there is a significant competitiveness in the for men, because now you can't be a shabby person with a job and expect yourself to get a partner easily, right? Even at workplace, for example, you have to look good. So and men don't know, like two sisters or two girlfriends or three girlfriends or mother-daughter talk about grooming. They talk about what lipstick is nice, how to take care of their hair. They're very vocal. It's very socially acceptable for women to talk within themselves. Two men don't. Whatever. They don't do that, right? So the onus is on brands. The need is there, but the onus is on brands to develop products, educate the male consumer, and then take them on a journey of looking better so that their life is better. They look good, they feel good. And that's the initial thesis we had, who came in with. So we try to take on the shaving market and the hair removal market. You saw a Beardo really do a good job with beard. You have Man Company who's done a fabulous job with gifting. You see Ustra who's done a good job with fragrances. So everyone comes in with their own thing, and they try to get the same male consumer to do more. We have over the last 2-3 years moved from men's grooming to men's hair removal, and to now men and women hair removal. So we have two brands, Bombay Shaving Company and Bombay. Bombay is spelled BOMBAE. It's almost 25% of our business today. And any unwanted hair on the body, our brands are there to make sure you can take it off your body with having fun, and it's sensorially good for you as opposed to being functional. So that's how we have evolved, and I'm very happy with that journey. We've had good investors, and we are today in a very, very good place.
Right now, I want to talk about most companies that were gravely impacted by the pandemic-induced lockdown. But I read that Bombay Shaving Company recorded, if I'm not wrong, a 10 times growth in its revenue. What would you attribute this growth to?
Good point. I think 2-3 things. First is consumers. The first instinct of consumers was to start buying more stuff online, right? It is very hard for me to compete as a younger company in offline stores because of just sheer distribution scale. It's very hard to compete with the Gillettes and Niveas and Supermax of the world who are in millions of stores. and I am not. Right? It takes time to build that network up. But now, when those stores are shut, at least for some time, and all the consumers are, I am only competing on a 5-inch screen. So when I'm competing on a 5-inch screen, then I have a lot more. My ability to win that fight is a lot higher. So we are able to gain share on a much larger scale. Consumers moved online, and we got much larger share of those consumers. The second thing is at a supply chain level, Ritika, we did a very good job. I think we were strategically very smart. We built out stocks. We invested in long-term contracts with offline retailers, modern trade, army, police canteens, etc. We brought deals for merchandising at scale. That if I want to put up a poster in your store for 3 years, I'll pay you for 3 years, but at a much lower rate.
Right.
When every other company was struggling with supply chain and investing and cutting down expenses, we were strategically investing everywhere. So suddenly we became a brand of choice for retailers and shopkeepers. I think third thing is we built out an offline team. Every other company was not building an offline team. We got talent fairly cheap, good quality talent. We have investors like Colgate and Reckitt who are super good at offline sales. So we were able to, our starting point was different, but we built out a very good army of offline sales. It is now almost half our revenue. Right? So there are 3 reasons. I think we really utilized COVID well. I think in hindsight, we also got lucky because our category was the kind that faced COVID tailwinds. But I think we also rode the tailwinds with some amount of strategic intelligence. So that's all.
Well, that's amazing. Like you mentioned, you are backed by 2 global FMCG companies, Reckitt and Colgate. This year, you also raised 160 crore rupees from multiple sources. So Shantanu, tell us, what does this sort of backing mean to you? In other words, how has this supported your plans to scale operations?
Yeah, I think we have a fairly non-standard cap table. We have not done seed fund and then series A with VC, series B with VC, series C with large VC, series D with private equity. We have not done that, right? We did like a seed round with 30 angels. Then we did Six Sense, who was a top consumer fund in India, who put in almost 3 times the regular check size in Bombay Shaving Company. Then we went to Colgate and Reckitt, and now we've got hedge funds in the company. So we are a very unique set of people. My approach, Ritwika, to fundraising is not financial in nature. I believe capital is a fuel for the business, which is absolutely required. Our margins are our margin profile is very healthy. So we don't need a lot of money. What we do need is fuel for growth. And especially given the categories grab and go, it involves offline distribution, it will involve front-loaded marketing. You need that money upfront. The question is that what money is a commodity. Anyone can give you money. The question is, what is the color of that money? For example, Colgate and Reckitt. These are companies who have upwards of 3 million retail outlets. So they are intelligent on how to build offline distribution. They've very successfully done it for centuries. We take that intelligence from them. They procure at scales which are 1,000 times my scale. They procure the same tubes, the same caps, the same colors, the same chemicals, etc. Right? If I am treated as a sister concern of my investor, I get much better rates when it comes to procurement. So sure, they invest money and I give them equity for it, and we both build the company together. But I get a lot more and add-on softer benefits, which really make my company a lot more robust. The second thing is my investors are very long-term in nature. My investors are not defined by fund life cycles. कि अभी खरीदा 2 साल में बेचना है, 3 साल में बेचना है, return दिखाना है, which we are not quarter on quarter kind of growth. I mean, there is of course pressure, and we will have a fiduciary duty to return the shareholders, but it is long term. So we never take myopic calls which are to grow the business this short term because someone has to sell their shares to someone else because their fund life cycle is demanding it. So I'm very glad to have investors who are understanding, long term, patient, experts, and give me more value than just the money.
Speaking of the men's grooming market in India, what according to you are some requisites essential to the growth of this category?
So if you, for example, like I graduated from college 10 years back, right? 10 years back, if you would go to a boys hostel, I am from IIM Lucknow. If you go to an IIM Lucknow hostel in 2011, you will see probably 4 or 5 products. You'll see a soap, you'll see a razor, you'll see a shaving foam, and you'll probably see maybe a hand wash or something. 4 or 5 products you will see. You go to an IIM Lucknow hostel today, you'll see 15 to 18 products. You'll see 2 razors, you'll see a trimmer, you'll see face washes, you'll see anti-acne, you'll see a beard oil, you'll see 15 products on average. So you know that consumers are buying more and more. what consumers are not able to do fully is educate themselves on using the products. Make great products which are simple to understand, price them well, and then educate the consumer constantly. You won't believe, Ritwika, the amount of change that happens in a man when he feels that he looks good. Just from a confidence standpoint, he brings his best version to his family, to his workplace, to any place, any social system he's a part of. He brings his best self if he feels he's looking good and is taking care of himself. So I think it's an important thing to do, and I think the growth of the category will come through education and innovative simple product at good price.
Well, all the very best. Thank you. It was great chatting with you, and I look forward to speaking with you in person.
Thank you, and you're very welcome to visit our offices whenever you're here. Would love to show you around.
And before we wrap up, here's a quick look at our CXO diary.
My success mantra is showing up every day.
Do your best every day at whatever you're doing. Even from writing a simple email to taking a strategic decision, make sure that you bring your best to it. Don't be casual or flippant about it, even the smallest thing.
Empowering your team.
Identify good people and make them successful.
Morning, especially 7 to 8, which is a gym time for me. I love that the most.
I usually have a very good evening planned ahead. I typically work out. I cook. I try to do something interesting. 4 p.m. is when the rigmarole of the morning is over. I have some time to myself, and that's when I kind of do things either at work or at home.
I watched We Crashed, which is based on WeWork story.
I'm actually currently watching The Good Doctor, which is about an autistic surgeon who's brilliant. I love it. The last book I read was The Boys Club. It was pretty cool.
I think from my heart, which may work otherwise sometimes.
I take maybe 3 times the amount of time needed to take tough people decisions than I should.
I think excitement to learn something new every day. That's my biggest motivation factor.
Recognition and wealth.
Jeff Bezos.
Martin Luther King.
Twitter.
LinkedIn. I'm not on any other social media.
I think money is essential to live a happy life. Nothing more than that, to be honest.
Access. I think it's never about wealth. It's always about the fact that people know you have wealth that creates access.
And spending time with my 2 daughters.
Drinking with my friends.
And that's all we could pack on this edition of Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. We hope you enjoyed the conversations. Thank you and good night.